So in terms of the May monthly meeting, we're following our typical schedule. I'm Dwight Mahalitz. I'm the past chair of CMC Global Institute, and we've decided that we will get together with our members once a month and record the sessions so that they're a resource for all of our members as we go forward. Today, our chair is with us, Tamara Abdul-Jabbar, and she is going to be joining with me in terms of talking about strategy, and we'll be leading the discussion about what our strategy might look like going forward. So what we'll do then is perhaps just jump into that strategy session. We thought what we might do is take it in two parts. One is to talk about our global parent, which is CMC-Global, and give you a quick overview of their strategy, because as one of the members, that does set some context for us. And then Tamara will lead us through the current CMC-GI strategy, which was a 2015 to 17 strategy, at least the highlights of that. And then we'll open it up for discussion amongst all of us in terms of how we can do the best job possible for our members going forward. Tamara, anything to add as our chair before we dive into this?
That sounds really good.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So from the point of view of CMC Global, the strategy has been in development and in place for a number of years, but last March there was more precision given to our vision. So as a global organization, we will be a leader in the development of management consulting as a global profession, but that drives social and economic success. So it's not enough that we're really good at being management consultants, but there's a purpose to being management consultants, and we feel that purpose is around social in countries, and also the economic success of our clients and of the broader communities in which we work. You'll see two names on the screen. At the top of the screen, we're talking about CMC Global, and then in the slide, we're talking about ICMCI. So that is the same organization. So ICMCI stands for the International Council of Management Consulting Institutes, which is a mouthful. So in terms of branding, we've started referring to ourselves as CMC Global. So if you hear ICMCI or CMC Global, those both describe our parent organization. There are three key goals that come out of that strategy. The first one is to build the profile, recognition, and influence of the profession and its practitioners globally. So what we're looking there is, how do we ensure that CMCs generate a common image in terms of professionalism and the best of the best in management consulting globally. So from the perspective of the parent body is, how do they support member institutes such as ourselves to really help CMCs build their own profile? The second key goal is to support, enhance, and grow the international network. So from the perspective of global, they would want to see institutes in every country of the world, if that were possible. Currently, there are 48 plus countries involved. We have 48 institutes, and one of them represents a cluster of several countries in the Caribbean. So that represents about 80% of management consulting, but nonetheless, it's very important that network grow and enhance in terms of being stronger in the services that they provide to their members who are management consultants. And then the third goal is to enable the members to enhance the visibility, recognition, and desirability of the CMC designation. So this is partly from the perspective of consultants wanting the designation, but also partly, and perhaps from our perspective more importantly, how do we ensure that clients come to appreciate the importance of the CMC designation in management consultants that they would hire, so that the designation really comes to represent something in terms of seeking out management consulting support in organizations. So that's the quick overview that I put together for CMC Global. And here now we have a few slides with respect to CMC-GI. So I'll hand it over to you, Tamara.
Thank you, Dwight. So like all of you know, the CMC-GI was established, or it started its activities in 2013 and 2014. And mainly to cover those geographies where national IMCs do not exist. So we've been helping consultants in countries like yours, Otto, in the UAE. We've been developing management consultants and helping them become certified. Sorry, my internet connection is unstable, so I might disconnect, I don't know. Now, our focus has been on creating awareness about the Global Institute, on creating CMCs in different countries, hoping that those CMCs would become our ambassadors in the countries they're present in, and more importantly, in the regions where they're present. And now that 2017 is looking very optimistic for us, we stand now at almost 45 members. Like ICMCI's executive director was telling us earlier today, this is larger than many national IMCs. So this is something to be proud of. This means that we need to look at our accordingly, plan for our growth and our expansion. So in the next few days, we will hopefully hear positive news about us becoming full members, which means that we can now certify CMCs, and it means that we can independently and not rely on anyone other IMCs to grant that certification. And for that reason, we're able now to reach out to more CMC candidates across the globe. And we can do that in clusters of candidates, although that's proving to be a bit challenging because it's a lot of work on our volunteer members, committee members, I mean. But it means that we need to go to different countries and try and enroll a larger number of CMC candidates and not just focus on one person. This would enable us to help those individuals start their national IMCs in a faster manner. Under that umbrella, we've recently recruited almost 25 new members from Moldova, and they're planning to have their national IMC by year end. So hopefully we'll be able to help them with that. We are talking to some candidates in other countries with where we are planning to have similar arrangements. One thing that we need to be doing now, just like ICMCI is focusing on promoting the designation and talking more about the role of CMCs and the value they bring to their customer organizations, we need to start promoting the CMC designation ourselves as GI, so that we can reach new countries and reach more people in the countries where we are already existing. And our marketing chair was telling us today how she's planning an awareness campaign together with her committee to reach more people and start spreading word about what we're currently doing. We've also just recruited a new chair for our professional development committee. So we're hoping that we'll have a clear strategy for professional development and bring new activities, educational activities for our members in the coming period. Recertification is something that we've worked on recently, and in the coming period, we'll be talking about the recertification policy so we can help the few CMCs that we already have maintain their designation. And like I said, the national IMCs, helping those national IMCs in different parts of the world is something that we'd like to focus on and put more effort towards in the coming period. That's pretty much it from my side. Thank you, Dwight.
Excellent, excellent. That was a great overview. I put together a couple of slides. So this next one talks about the mission as we perceived it in 2015, because that was the 2015 to 2017 strategic plan. And I think it mirrors fairly well the goals of CMC-Global Institute, CMC-Global, although we put this together before they actually wrote theirs down. So elevate the standards of management consulting, support the creation and development of national professional management consulting institutes throughout the world, which you just referred to, and then encourage information sharing and networking between management consultants, adhering to the CMC-GI Code of Conduct. Does this still feel relevant to you now in 2017, looking forward to 2019?
It does feel very relevant. We still have the same mission, but maybe we need to start putting more pressure I mean, in 2015 to 2017 and a couple of years before that, we were more of a startup. So we were focusing on building the inside of the organization, developing members in different countries. But now that our internal organization is well established, we have our policies in place, we have our processes in place, we're able to focus on those activities and this mission in a better and more effective manner.
Okay.
So it's more of the execution now rather than just the strategizing.
So then that first bullet in the mission might be separated partly into supporting the more to focus more on how do we provide direct support to our members now that the membership base is increasing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anka, have you any thoughts on the mission and how we might improve it?
Just unmuted. I think that everything that to you and Tamara said till now is valid. What my concern is regarding the added value that we give to our members. Mm-hmm. And I think I said that before, but meeting the members in Moldova and hearing directly their questions and gave me a little bit of a different perspective. And if I think that in the following period, a part of our work should go toward providing some services, membership services to our members, and by doing this, I think we are going to attract more and more members. Because of course they will speak between each other, between professionals, and this might be a long term, but a good tool to achieve our mission.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Otto, any thoughts from the membership perspective?
I agree with Anka, and that resonates with me in terms of let me step a bit back and I share some thoughts. It might be some blabbering, but this is what I was thinking on. I think Tamara mentioned that, for example, with the case of the Moldovans, being a midterm goal to have them form a national institute. What I was thinking, just thinking out aloud, is the CMC-Global started from the national institutes, because basically this was the national institute were instituted in big countries. But for those of us who are in small regions, very fragmented regions, I was just thinking out aloud on the paradigm that the end goal is to form a national institute. I mean, to me, I was just thinking, to me, it could be more in a globalized world as we live now. It could be more appealing to me just to keep it global. And because I could share and have a window to what other CMCs are doing all over the world, and resonating with what Anka was saying, things that are relatively easy to do are, for example, do like a topic specific forums to discuss certain topics. So, for example, down here in the Shared Services Association, there is like a professional practices type of a meeting. That meeting could be virtual, through Zoom or something like that, and discuss what type of tools people is using, example of projects, just out of sharing. And because it is global, I might not feel endangered in terms of sharing some information, because the people that is sharing information with me is not in my market. So it is not relevant if I share some information on what I am doing. So I was just thinking, if for some subgroup of the world population, it might be more marketable and appealing just to keep it as a global group.
That's actually interesting. So you'd rather we keep this global perspective rather than focus on regions. You don't think that the focus on regions would have a positive effect on the networks and the business opportunities?
I mean, we could have a local chapter to meet and do things, in presence. But I do feel that the window to the world community is far more worthful than having my local community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very interesting, because there's actually some discussion with some current national members, Otto, that find the creation and maintenance of their organization, recruiting all of the volunteers, doing all the certification processes, coming up with the annual membership fee, all of these things become a burden, so that they're not as focused in on the development of the profession as they could be, and they're actually thinking about not being a full member anymore, but joining CMC-Global Institute for some of the reasons that you've said. It still gives them that ability to be part of the network of management consultants, be a member of the association, become certified, but they don't have to do all of the committee work and all of the other things that come along with it. They participate, organize.
In some scales, there might be, because a local chapter as a group is very easy to maintain. We meet, every 1 or 2 months and discuss some very specific local market.
Mm-hmm.
But in the globalized world that we live on, and with the facilities that we have now to communicate, I just see so much leverage on the global scale.
Yeah. Tamara, I think that's a great point, and maybe we do want to modify then on the previous page in our purpose, because I think there is, although we do want to support groups of consultants that want to form a national association, there's no reason that needs to be the end point. They could choose to become members for however long they want to be as part of GI.
I mean, and also from a economic perspective, if the end goal of CMC-GI keeps being developing local chapters or local groups, then you never get enough money. If you keep some of the membership,
Mm-hmm.
A group of people that might be interested in keeping it global, that's a fixed income that you have.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
it has positive effects for GI itself.
Yes, exactly. And therefore for other consultants, because then we have more resources to support them in their development.
Correct.
So this last line then could be impacted, and we don't make it. It's not a requirement, but it is stated when there is a critical mass in any one country, they can form their own national IMC. So we might want to think about how we can improve that sentence to make it even more flexible. Okay. So that was pretty good, Otto, for off the top brainstorming. Any other comments on our mission in terms of the business that we should be in?
um, I think I said that before. Mm, we have talked about being a CMC certified, being like not the beginning or the middle part of their profession, but that you need to have been in the industry for some time to actually have the competencies and the history and the amount of experience uh, to comply with what a CMC certified person should be. Um, Again, going back to Tamara, going back to Anka, I think, and I have not seen it before, but um, from the perspective of having people in a more global manner, I don't know if one of the objectives also could be to get aspiring CMCs to the level of compliance to be CMCs, as a service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting myself with at my company with some career coaching for our juniors, and just sitting down and talk about what they need to do in order to and of course help them to get to the point where I can present them to certification, hopefully in the future. But I think that might be part of the services with the Moldovans. Some of the people were good to be members, not that, in my opinion, not that proficient yet to be certified, but they could be members, paying members. So perhaps one of the services that the GI could have could be around receiving people who is good to be a member, but not yet good enough to be a CMC certified, and help them get to that point for a fee.
So you're talking about some sort of mid-level, not quite a certification because they wouldn't be a CMC, but there could be some interim level of training to help move them towards that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, through e-learning or something like that, and help them orient the experience that they need to get.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the competencies framework. You say you need to start learning, for example, if, for example, you are a project manager and you do a lot of projects but you don't sell anything, then according to the book, you need to develop some commercial skills, because otherwise you won't point on those competencies. So we could have content designed to help people self-study or self-develop those competencies where they are.
So actually, if I may elaborate on what you're saying, Otto, in our professional development activities, we might want to have two tracks. One is for CMCs who are looking to get the points for continuous education and recertification. And then maybe another that starts with an assessment of the member and basically identifies the gaps that the member currently has against our qualification framework.
Like a radar graph.
Exactly, and give that members some ideas on training courses and activities that he or she can go through in order for them to become ready for the certification.
Correct, and also when you are a consultant, you might say, Well, you should favor types of consulting. You know, if in your own organization or in your own practice or whatever, try to favor projects that would develop this, and this, then you need to start developing more experience. You know, because that would allow you 3 or 4 years down the road to actually be able to credit this type of experience that is required in the framework.
Okay.
So it's sort of a mid-coaching and providing some content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coaching and perhaps even mentoring.
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent.
Can I add to that? It's something that is actually going to be difficult to achieve, largely because, from what I understand of CMC-Global, the interaction is really online, and a lot of what you determine about a person's capability and so on is really your interaction on a face-to-face basis. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it. In fact, we need to do it, and in fact, all of the national associations have to do something similar. But there's that difficulty that it's not a face-to-face intervention. So understanding clearly what their strengths and weaknesses are, and therefore focusing the coaching and mentoring in that becomes a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It is a difficulty we face in our organization, is that our members are around the world. So coming together and having face-to-face meetings, let alone face-to-face interventions, is a problem. So we do have to work hard to make sure that we can overcome that gap, for sure. Thank you.
And right, one question here. This is only my second meeting on these online meetings. And let me just quickly introduce myself. Rabindra Danny Jagannath. I'm actually part of the Caribbean Institute of Certified Management Consultants. Mm-hmm. One question to ask, and it's probably my understanding or misunderstanding, as the case may be. I always assumed that ICMCI was an umbrella organization, and the national associations were all part of ICMCI. Mm-hmm. Is this a fair assumption? Is this the same thing that with CMC-Global, that the national associations are members of CMC-Global, as well as CMC-Global is putting a lot of focus on the countries where there are no national associations, but there are persons who are willing to become certified?
Yeah. That's Danny, that's an amazing segue to the next slide that we have up here. So let me answer it, bringing that slide up. So we're talking about two different organizations here. So you're absolutely correct, Danny, that that CMC-Global, which was previously and still is known as ICMCI, is the parent body, and their only membership are national bodies of associations. So if you look at the map that's on your screen now, all of those gold countries represent the 48 institutes. 46 of those institutes are based within one country, like Canada, the US, Brazil, and so on. One of those institutes is a number of different countries, which is yours, the Caribbean, where a few countries have come together because of critical mass issues and have formed one institute. And the 48th institute, and the newest one, is the CMC-Global Institute, which is a sister to all of the other country ones. And this is the meeting that you're at now. And we're charged with filling in the white spaces. So anywhere in the world where there is no national institute, members can join the virtual Global Institute and become a member, pursue their designation, and so on. The reason I put this slide in here is it's very exciting. At the March meeting of the board of the global organization, I was talking to them about filling in the white spaces, and they said, well, that's a great idea. What we should do is every time there's 3 or more members in any from any one country in the Global Institute, let's fill in the map in a different color. So you'll see here on this map that United Arab Emirates and Moldova have now been colored in blue. So part of our strategic initiatives over the next 3 years should be to get as much of white to blue as we can, in addition to supporting our membership within those areas that are already blue.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm just noticing we have 7 participants, so I just want to check who else is on here. Is there anyone else who's just joined us that we haven't spoken with yet? Oh, Tuya, I see that you've managed to get on.
Yes, after 16 minutes I can.
I'm so sorry it was so difficult for you.
Yeah, it's my first time and I made some mistakes.
Not at all.
Not too bad, I guess.
Yeah, welcome. We're very pleased that you can join us today. And today we're focusing in on a discussion on strategy. So please do join in. And as I mentioned at the beginning, in our membership meetings each month, we take the opportunity to meet one member in more depth. So Tuya will be introducing herself before the hour is out and talking a little bit about her firm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to add something to Danny's introduction. He missed to say that he's one of our assessors.
Oh yes, I am. Well, I have been a CMC for quite a long while. I first got my designation through the Canadian Association way back in 1996. So yes, I'm experienced enough to be an assessor.
Thank you. Yeah, your hands are full together with the other assessors, with all of the members that have just joined. So thank you for your hard work. So the last slide that I put up in terms of the GI strategy, Tamara, deals with the strategic objectives. So in 2015, these were the 4 strategic objectives that we put in place. So perhaps we can talk a few minutes about these and see whether how we might want to improve these for 2017 to 2019.
Just looking at them, I believe they're still very valid. We've achieved some of them in part. The professional development activities, for instance, is something where we're still weak. We have a lot of room to develop and improve. And like I said, we need to focus on the execution now. I think we've done with setting up things, either for the CMC designation, the process for certification, or the policies, etc. And now it's about implementing those and reaching out to more CMC candidates, developing the member base. Like again, we're there. We have 45 members. That's something to be very proud of. And I think this year we'll focus on getting those members to promote CMC-GI in their own countries and get new members from the same countries where we already have a small membership base. The professional development opportunities, that's something that I promise that we'll be working harder on this time, now that we have a very capable chair for the related committee. And again, establishing the association, that's the setup, the internal organization, and I think we've achieved great strides in that domain.
Excellent. Any other comments on the objectives that we have here as we begin to rewrite these over the next few weeks? The only question that jumps out at me, and I haven't read the whole plan for a while, but I'm not sure exactly what we meant, and I'm one of the co-authors. So in the second one, develop a base of management consulting members and non-members. So I'm not sure what we meant exactly by non-members.
Non-members. I was just thinking about that actually.
So we'll have to improve that one a little bit. If
exactly.
the road that can't remember what we meant, it doesn't mean too much to others. So we can improve that. Although we do have a class of membership now, which are associate members. So we will take some membership from individuals who are not management consultants. So perhaps a business professional that works with management consultants a lot might have an interest in such an association as ours. So that might be the thought that we had, but it wasn't well formed 3 years ago, but is now.
That could be it. And another thing could be the pipeline of candidates to become members, whether affiliate, student, or regular members. So we always need to have a large pipeline that we need to develop so that these people can become members.
Yeah, a very strong pipeline. I like that too. Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay, well, thank you for that. This ended up being more interactive than I thought it was going to be, and that was excellent. That's my preferred way of doing it. So what I would like to leave the thought with you before, because we want to leave enough time for Tuya to introduce herself, is for you to think about as we go offline, and if anything else occurs to you, what would you like the CMC Global Institute to focus on? And another way of saying that are what are the best services that we can provide to ensure that members are as successful as possible. Because if one joins an association, part of it is what they bring to the association, but also part of it is what is the association giving back in terms of improving the profession, but also in helping the individual themselves to improve. So that becomes part of execution. I like that that framing that you've given it, Tamara, that it becomes part of executing what we've envisioned all along. So it's a really exciting time. Any other thoughts before we move on to the actual Meet the Member part of the Meet the Members session? Well, thank you. This was a very good kickoff to the strategic plan, because as you know, our plan does end in 2017, so now's the time to move it. And actually, as part of my consulting practice is around strategy execution, and the research is so clear that 70% of strategies fail to achieve their targets. So I think we can all be proud that we're in the 30%. I'm feeling really good about what we've done over the last 3 years, and if we can do that well over the next 3 years, we're going to be a great global organization. Tamara, any closing thoughts on strategy before we move on?
It's just that I'm excited about having a new strategy, having good, seeing that some major milestones were achieved, and I look forward to everyone's contribution. This is a member-based organization, so we count on our members to continue to join our activities, support us, and provide valuable input. So again, if there are things that come to mind later, please feel free to reach out and communicate those to me and to YT.
Yeah, great thought to think to part on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next section of our meeting today, and that is Meet the Member. I'm very pleased to introduce Tuya Altantuya. So she and I have been corresponding, haven't we, Tuya, for what, about 2 or 3 years as they've been working in Mongolia on the establishment of an institute. And this is one of the situations where members are joining CMC-GI while they think about the creation of an institute, so that some members can become certified and work their way through the process. So I asked Tuya if she would introduce herself and her firm to the other members. We have a small but committed number of people on today, and this does get posted to our YouTube channel. So in future, others will be able to meet anybody else that has introduced themselves in previous sessions. So I've talked enough. I'll hand it over to you now, Tuya, and just say next slide whenever you want me to advance your slide to the next one, please.
Okay, thank you, Dwight. And hello, everyone. I'm very pleased indeed tonight. It's my evening time here in Mongolia, and to join the family of CMC-GI. I'm very, very pleased and really excited to be part of this global organization. And in my introduction today, I just basically introduce myself and my consultant practices that I've been engaged in since 2008, and then I also work as a CEO of the Mongolian Management Consultants Institute. So I thought maybe to share, it would interest maybe to share what's happening in Mongolia, which I'm also was very interested to hear about the strategy formulation of CMC-GI, and which is really coinciding with the time of the strategy refresh. We are planning to do it at our institute, so this will be very much the a related issue that when we strategize for next 3 years, especially what we are trying to do in this year and the next couple of years. So Please, next slide. Um, before I talk about my own experiences in management consultancy, I thought maybe interesting. It's in our country, since probably that everyone knows that it got transited from former centrally planned economy to market economy, where it has history of like 25 years since 1990. So here in life cycle, you can see really that in the first inception stage, in the growing, then control, stabilization, shake, and decline. In this stage, it illustrates about the past 2 decades and the current 10 years, and then next the future. So we at our institute, the consultants, talk about that what was happening in last 20 years, and then what's going to happen in management consultancy industry for upcoming decades. So it's very interesting. From 1990 to 2000, basically, that the Mongolians were all about that making how to make money, and this was basically business based on the individuals and families who traded between 2 big countries, like we are Mongolia border with China, Russia, and when everyone had like no assets and everyone had same amount of properties and clothes and the food, all of a sudden you got the freedom of doing whatever way to make money. So spending 10 years in really being engaged in all sorts of activities making money, the next 10 years, which is from 2010, basically spent on really how to grow or how to make more money or how to spend your money. So all of this was, there was no business, not much that structured the way of doing business or business education. The current 10 years it's what's happening is how to really stabilize your business, or it's more about the financial management. In Mongolia, there are like 95% of the companies which are recorded as 90,000 companies. 95% is small, with members or employees of less than 5. So now the challenges facing is really the installing the management systems, and especially that having good financial controls and financial planning and budgeting. So it's very dominant or strong, this family-based management, where governance is poor, when these professionals or professional consultant service demand is still not that great, or value in the consulting service is still not there yet. It's improving. But from this is our oldest company, the age-wise, it's like 27 years old, which is compared to the world's, the age of the company, 400 years, which is very young. So we are all learning in this market economic situation. And so next 10 years, we are seeing that companies will face the challenge of really they investing their capital in a most appropriate way, or be really the management led by marketing or customer requirements and needs, and it's really how to manage marketing assets. And then it will be more strategic management, where the sectorial or industry development will take place, and more competitive advantage will be dominant. So here really for the successful companies, the challenge is how to position in the sector. So then, like everyone knows, when it starts to decline, there's this more strategic approach of how to avoid declining. So that in management consultancy, we see that growing industry in Mongolia, and we see more the need of the management consultancy will take place in next decade, where really strong professional people will be needing to, for making clients to the next development. And please, next slide. Thank you. So in management consultancy, it's for we realize that it's very important to see how it is. What is this management consultant service from? Not only from our sales point of view, from clients' point of view. So what's their motive to get engaged in management consultant service? If there is some sort of misunderstanding or not really seeing through their eyes, there is a problem in effectiveness of the service. So in management consultancy, it's the starting point is really that what is their client and core purpose. Especially my services, I'm working in the strategic planning and the performance management and organizational development. So our challenge for management consultants, really, we see it as a defining value, how to, improve the value for clients. And next slide. At our institute, when we do knowledge sharing between our members, and there was one of our consultants talking about very good analogy of management consultancy, where he talked about when one normal guy, he got the problem of not sleeping, so he couldn't sleep for months. He really suffered so much, so he went to doctor, and doctor gives diagnoses him that is too much stress, and then gives him the good sleeping pill to take, and he tries it, and then he still doesn't help. And then he was so exhausted, and he was taken to the best place, so-called the hospital, where he got hospitalized. That's the name of the hospital. Is like called Yellow Rock, where all psychic people or crazy people go there and stay. Still can't get any improvement. So then his friend advised him to take the Inner Mongolia to China, and then he was diagnosed there by doctors who saying that it was heart problem, not really any other thing. His heartbeat was so weak, and that medication, Mongolian doctor injection was prescribed him, was making the heartbeat even weaker, that his brain couldn't get enough oxygen or blood. So all he needed was just walk in the fresh air and increase the physical activity day by day. And then he exactly did, stopped all the medication, all the sleeping pills and etc. And he started walking, and then he was able to sleep. So this is a very good analogy, we thought, in management consultancy, where that sometimes we diagnose wrong or prescribe wrong, and then the timing is wrong, and when resources are not really accounted for, and also company maturity level and capacity is not just there. So all of this blend have been good, consistent way that management consultancy serves be really effective. So what we are now thinking about is that consultants from like HR, marketing, strategy, or ISO, like business processes and IT come together, and as one team, as a group, go to the client and then make real improvement where he can be really in a most cost-effective way and in the fastest way get improvement, and then get really very practical. So that is that project going on with it. One of the interventions or latest development we are trying since last year, and we are still in the process and hoping that this will bring some good results. So just I thought maybe interesting for you guys to see how we see the challenges in consultant services in Mongolia, which we are very much hoping to get good input or ideas or innovation from CMC-GI family. So there are of course many challenges, but however, we see the major, some the common ones probably worldwide, that however very specific to us is that of course the owner's commitment, and most of the companies are, as I said, family owned and private companies, and without their commitment or their genuine intention, consultant services like waste of time and effort. And in Mongolia, still because of the transition to new economy, it's governance is still big issue, and board of directors attitude and professionalism is still a challenge. Even there are this right skills, sometimes problems of attitude or teamwork is create a big challenge for management consultants. And of course the competency of executive management, the lack of skill and management education is a huge problem. Often that CEOs are appointed and not up to the job. And the family-run business governance is very unique here. Still, companies are not really hiring independent professional executives for running their businesses, and then especially that generation shift where the initial owners now like in their 50s and 60s, and new generation, then skill gap and the business experiences is not there, which is a challenge for here the SMEs. And the cultural differences are closed and open companies like it is still a cultural issue is a big issue, and it takes long time to really build the strong culture which really affect the company development in mission, vision and values. So this is a challenge for management consultants to really consider when they work with the management and employees. And in some cases, it's still very strong that this is Mongolia, and the theories of the West of this management fads are not really applicable to our case. But we consultants try to be independent and objective in combating that kind of views and really convincing the Mongolian managers to overcome that issue. And still that business language education is not there. Like for instance, like financial languages there is a standard similar to strategic management and our business processes, and in all of those that businesses are quite new to them, and then for them to understand and to apply those concepts and techniques to their day-to-day work is challenging. So often that for management consultants to convert the management language and theories into their their way of thinking, and day-to-day life is the challenge. So still we have to overcome those. And next slide, please. So
there we go.
Here the very strong management of instinct based, using their not really using the surveys, researches or facts facts that which lead to good decision making. This is we as a strategy management consultant, I find it very difficult to change that attitude, to change that style of management. However, we try different ways of overcoming that issue. And just in summary, that we consultants talking at our institute, we see that Mongolia as a nation, it has to have a very good vision. And at company level, companies need good governance and professional approach to running their businesses, and at the individual level, the good attitude. So here, the consultant's role, the management consultancy role, play very significant role in these three stages, and we are just like CMC-GI, thinking about it, reformulating our policies and strategic intent and mission and vision. So it will be very exciting to share our plan with yours and make it in line that we can further together learning and improving our services. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. That was a very good overview. I really appreciate it. One thing that struck me was your comment about the management fads don't apply in Mongolia. I think that's maybe not a bad thing, because they appear to be very seductive in many countries, but also aren't very helpful, because most management fads are just somebody's good idea that aren't based in fundamentals. Anyway, that was a very good overview, and I really very much do appreciate that. Has anyone any questions of Tuya? I know we're at the top of the hour now, so we have to close down soon. But if anyone has any questions, I'd be very happy to take those now. Okay, it looks like we're well set. I thank you all for your help. That input into the strategy is going to be very helpful as we move forward, and we will be circling back with the membership as we move through drafts, so you'll have other opportunities to input as well. And thank you very much. Tamara had to leave early because she was moving on to a client meeting, so she left a few minutes before the hour so she could be on time. So on her behalf, I'll also thank you and thank you for your participation, and wish you a very good rest of the day, whatever hour it is in your time zone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thank you very much.